Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
Welcome back to Netroots Nation here in Pittsburgh. One of the things I love about coming to these, you run into people that you've had on the show, you've met virtually, you talked on the phone, you do the Zoom thing, but never met in person. That's why I'm thrilled to talk to my next guest, Carolyn Fiddler. You may remember her last week. We had her on talking about the elections and, well, Alaska and the other place as well, Wyoming, and the bloodbath that happened there. But you may remember Carolyn is the political editorial director over at Courier Newsroom, couriernewsroom.com, one of the sponsors of Netroots Nation. Carolyn, thanks for taking time for us.
I am so delighted to be here and to meet you in person. It's very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. Because I've been doing this stuff for years, and you meet people virtually over the phone, and you're getting to actually, especially post-pandemic, actually getting to shake hands, say hello. I think pretty good.
I agree. I like people. What can I say?
There you go. That makes all of one of us. So as a sponsor, why?
Because Netroots Nation is an important sort of legacy organization. They started with Daily Kos. It was originally the yearly Kos conference, and it spun out into its own jam. And now it's the biggest conference and gathering of progressives in the country. And it's really nice to be able to do it in person. It was virtual the last couple of years. It's just not the same. But it brings a lot of organizers and activists and even industry people together to help people work together better and have better tech and resources and to build relationships. Yeah. Like, I've already met a lot of cool people here.
No, and this is what the right has done masterfully for decades. You have all these crazy conferences, and you think of Crazy Pack, where at one point was really about ideas and really about conservatism, and you could argue whether that was a good thing for the country or not. They've really jumped the shark into insanity, as a lot of the young Nazi rallies and now the old Nazi rallies. In fact, you're tomorrow going to be a Nazi rally.
There is,
which is kind of exciting, but
exciting is one word for it. Yes.
So, this is the first time Courier News is, sponsored this event, right?
Yes, it is. I've been coming to Netroots for a very long time.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah. It's the first time Courier sponsored it, and we're very excited to have an important presence here. It's a great organization to support. And Courier Newsroom is kind of new, so it's really good to get our name out there and to make connections in the progressive movement, because what Courier does is so important in terms of fighting misinformation with good information. So, very excited to be here. But Netroots is just... it's fun to see it evolve over the years. It's fun to get back in touch with people I haven't seen since like 2019. I've been here with other organizations I've worked for over the years. The Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee. It's good to go and connect and get the importance of state legislative races out there and talked about. I used to work with AFT, and they're always a big sponsor here. And I was actually with Daily Kos for a number of years, the originator of Netroots Nation, and so they always come in as a big sponsor. And it's important to support this work. So really happy to be here again.
Yeah, no, so let's talk about the legislative races, and let's talk about the I guess we got to start with Wyoming. Let's go there.
We don't have to, but we can.
Well, yeah, I think you kind of do. I mean, it was a thumping.
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah, she got whacked. I mean that really is. I think the moment that you realize the Republican Party is no longer. I mean, maybe the logo's still there, but they're the death cult.
Yeah. I confess I was surprised by the margin and disappointed. Like, I knew she was going to lose. Everyone knew she was going to lose, but that margin was it was a lot and really, really depressing in terms of what it says about Republicans. And some people say that this is only a Wyoming thing, but I think it absolutely has national implications.
Yeah, I do too. Now, look, I don't want to at all, at any level, say Liz Cheney is a good person or somebody that I would vote for, because I wouldn't have. I mean, legislatively, she was a monster.
Correct.
And I said that from the very beginning. She did the right thing in the moment, and I give her credit for that, because it did cost her in this moment her position. But I do think it's going to catapult her down the road, and I think that's the calculus as well.
Oh, absolutely. She is incredibly smart. She comes from a family of calculating operatives, so she gets it on us.
That's such a nice way of putting that.
And to my knowledge, she has not shot anyone in the face.
And made them apologize for it.
I know, 'cause it's classic abuse nonsense there. Anyway, but no, I agree. She has her sights set on other bigger things. But yeah, the Republican Party is, well, it's not even undergoing a reckoning. Like the party has fully embraced this extremism that she stands against. And it is kind of sad. I'm not sad for her, because I agree with you, she is a monster legislatively, but it's sad to see someone who stands up for principles and does the right thing lose because of it.
And badly to someone who was bad.
Yes. Yeah, she is, yeah. Somehow worse legislatively, but also way out there.
And this is where I keep coming back to. People go, can you reach out to the Republicans? And is there any bit of because look, I'm planning on going to the Nazi rally here. For folks who don't know, I keep responding. I keep saying the Nazi rally tomorrow. That is Ron DeSantis is coming to Pittsburgh to have a rally with Benito Mastriano. I mean, Senator Doug Mastriano, who is running for governor here in this state. I think that's going to be a full-blown Nazi rally because this area has a white supremacist large movement. So I'm expecting that. And I think this site chosen specifically because Netroots is here. Because I can't think of any other reason why you would choose Friday at the same location that this is going on. It seems convenient.
Yeah, it's a little sus.
It seems like you want some kind of chaos, some kind of attention.
Yeah.
Maybe
trying to sow conflict.
Trying to get a little attention since he's not really doing well. I mean, the campaign.
Not really.
Not going well. Kind of like the Oz campaign. Not going well. When you don't know how many houses you own or can't remember your children's names or what store you're in.
Legitimately? Also, do you own houses illegitimately? So many questions about that whole thing.
This is the best and brightest the GOP has to offer.
Yeah, no,
So I look at what you do over at Courier News. This is fertile ground.
Yes, extremely. I mean, we have a property here. We have a newsroom here in Pennsylvania called Keystone. And obviously doing a very important work in this election cycle because Mastriano is terrifying. Like having him in charge of the state is just going to be a nightmare if he wins, especially with a GOP-controlled legislature. Democrats could flip the House this year. It is a tall order. The maps are better, but flipping the House may well be a multi-cycle prospect. So with the GOP legislature and Mastriano as governor, like all kinds of chaos can be wrought. And
no, I keep telling my union buddies, I go, the first thing that'll happen, and Kentucky will get whiplash at how fast Pennsylvania becomes a right-to-work state.
Yes, fact.
And that will be a horrible thing for the Commonwealth, and something that will take decades, I think, to undo.
Absolutely. Agreed.
And then with that comes cutting school funding, all the health and human services, painful cuts to people with disabilities. Go down the list.
Yeah.
But the corporate America will be happy.
Of course. And of course, one of the things that Republicans don't talk about when they start moving towards so-called right to work is that they're targeting unions because unions are a key part of the infrastructure of the progressive movement and the Democratic Party. And they know by kneecapping unions, they're kneecapping the party and making it easier for themselves to hold on to power. It's diabolical on multiple levels.
And the other part of it, and I go even further than that it's more than just about Democrats. It's about they don't want people believing collective action works. They want to continue that hyper-individualism of the Reagan era, that you alone can do it, that kind of Trumpian kind of one person, I alone can do this.
Right, bootstraps.
And as long as you can keep people divided and pitted against each other, it's easier to fleece them.
Fact. Absolutely true.
And boy, it's been grifter's Super Bowl ever since the raid of the Golden Palace.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. I'm worried that we're going to see more attacks on federal employees. Like the guy who tried to shoot up the building in Ohio last week, was it?
In Cincinnati. And this is one of those moments where you go, the internet, social media, great thing. I like it. Maybe we don't know how to use it. Evidently, he went on social media on YouTube to find some videos on how to get through bulletproof glass with a nail gun, and then surprised it didn't work.
YouTube full of lies? Never. That's crazy.
But it worked in the video. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show. We're here with Carolyn Fiddler, political editorial director at Courier Newsroom, one of the sponsors here at Netroots Nation. CourierNewsroom.com, the website, if you want to check out the incredible work that they do there. So what are we hoping for out of this? What are we expecting over the next couple of days? I know you've been to a bunch of these, as have I. What are you expecting?
Well, I'm on a couple of panels myself, so I'm looking forward this afternoon to talking about I'll be talking about what happened in Virginia last year in the governor's race, how all that went a little awry for Democrats, and now we have Governor Youngkin, who is traveling to Michigan to, burnish his national credentials. Never mind that he has a whole state to govern already. And Senator Jennifer McClellan, who ran in the primary against Terry, is going to be on that panel. So a lot of tea is going to get spilled. Very exciting. And then on Saturday, I am moderating a panel about misinformation in the media and how to fight it, how conservative narratives make their way into mainstream media, how to fight back against it, and what the media's responsibility is to be pro-democracy as opposed to both sidesism.
Yeah, no, this is one of the things that drives me crazy because, I get people all the time that they get the talking points that they got on right-wing talk radio or on the F channel or one of the worst, the other ones, and somehow that they believe that that's actually news. And you go, no, that's propaganda. And, trying to explain how the right has built this incredible machine, and you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, they're clever as heck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Goebbels would be like, oh, wow, I should have thought of that.
I know, right? Oh.
Think tanks, focus groups, right into the radio people, right into cable news, really? Right into the veins of democracy? Really? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's quite impressive what they do. And I think most people don't quite get it. And I've been trying to explain this for years because I almost remember the first when I learned how this works. I had a friend who worked for one of the big right-wing radio voices. Mm. And once I found out that the program that he worked for was on the third floor of the Heritage Foundation, yep. and how, it was basically just, this symbiotic relationship of here's your talking points and basically how the work is done for them. It was really kind of eye-opening at how the whole machine works.
It's very streamlined. They got real good at it. And Democrats are finally starting to catch up.
Are they?
My organization is one of the things that's part of the catch-up.
Okay.
Putting out good information to counter all the bad. We're very social media forward because that's where a lot of people get their news these days. They just see a headline, they're like, then that's it. They don't pay to get behind paywalls. And who can blame them? People are just trying to live their lives and spend their money on, things that benefit them directly, like food and gas and clothes for their kids as we're going back to school. So we put it out there. It's free. It's factual. But it's through a progressive lens and through a very pro-democracy lens. I think media has a responsibility to stand up for democracy more than it's doing. This both sidesism is hurting everybody.
Oh, you mean we don't have to give the Nazis a voice?
No, we don't. No, we absolutely do not.
And from the Nazis' perspective. See, if they did that, I would be okay with it. But they always couch it in different terms.
Right. Critics say.
Yeah. And this is where the left never fought those fights. I remember I would go, to different, issues at the state capitol here in Pennsylvania because I'm an activist and I've done a bunch of this stuff over the years. And you'd have, hundreds of people show up, for this certain rally, whatever it's going to be. And you'd have two guys from a right-wing think tank. And the news media would give both sides equal time.
Right.
And you go, what happened here? There's no fairness doctrine anymore. And you don't ever do that on the other side. Oh, that's
Nope.
right, because the left never shows up for that stuff.
Yeah. And one of the things the right did very successfully back, I guess, the 90s was convince media that it had a left-wing bias, which has never been true.
Right.
But they convinced the media that they were the problem. And so the media was like, oh, no, we have to do conservative things now, and we're all suffering because of it.
Yeah, you just got to keep making those accusations.
Yeah.
When it's actually a corporate-controlled media.
Exactly.
It's all about the money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we should be focusing on. But it's really great to see you and finally sit down in person.
Likewise.
I love having you on. I hope you enjoy your time here at the big Netroots.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you back again at some point in the near future.
Same. Thanks.
As always, great stuff. Carolyn Fiddler, the political editorial director there at Courier Newsroom. Make sure you check out their work at couriernewsroom.com. We'll get links out on social media. You can check a look at that. Gonna take a quick break. Right back after this. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show. We're working people. Come to talk.